So I'm excited to be here today with Helen Jones. And Helen served on the foundation board for quite a while, and that's how you and I first met.
Oh, yes.
But you and Howard came to Calhoun in the 70s with 2 children, ended up with 3
boys.
sons. Talk to me a little bit about what drew you to Calhoun. And
Well, job opportunity. Howard had been with a law firm in Atlanta. He left before the children woke up, and he got home when the children were ready to go to bed.
yeah,
And I was tired. And all of a sudden he said, you know, this isn't what I want it to be. And happened to have a friend whose father at the time was a judge in the Cherokee Circuit. And he asked him one day, where's a good place to go and raise a family and be able to have good family time? He said, well, you know, there's a place of Calhoun, Georgia that I think they would be ready for a young, and Howard always says he was a young, aggressive attorney.
mm-hmm.
And walked into the law firm of Mr. Chance, who, by the way, is related to Rita David.
Really? Whose house I bought?
Whose
Yeah.
house you bought. So, you know, everything gets connected here. But they just walked in the door, said, I'm Howard Jones, and I'm looking for a place to raise a family and have a wonderful law practice.
Oh, that's great.
And bingo. It worked.
So
And we
you-
just adored Mr. Chance.
So you were attracted to the environment,
The
family
size.
set. Mm-hmm.
It was just right for, it was right for Howard, it was right for me and for our family.
So that was why Calhoun was a good place to raise a family in the 70s
Absolutely.
and 80s. Why is it a good
Absolutely.
place to raise a family now?
I would say a lot the same. It still has the small town atmosphere, but you can be a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to be part of the school system, if you want to be part of the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about some of the changes that you witnessed in the community over the years, what are some of the positive changes that come to mind?
I think, well, positive, the hospital.
Oh,
And
I
then you
was
didn't
hoping
pay
you'd
me
say that. No,
you
I
didn't
didn't.
pay me to say that. But my gosh, yes, the hospital. And I think the school system. I think some of the most important things you think about with a family
Mm-hmm.
is you do want to have them well educated to be able to go on in the world, to college or to anything they want to be.
Right.
But you also want to know if something happens, you have a good hospital real close by.
Right.
You don't have to drive an hour.
When you were involved in the foundation board for 13 years, I
13
think.
years.
And then prior to that, Howard was involved in the foundation board.
Howard
So
was.
in one way or another, you've been involved in the foundation board for a long time.
Yes.
And I know you've been involved in raising money for the United Way. Why is it important for somebody to get involved in the community and give back?
Well, it's just good for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
good for, I think what I did with the hospital and maybe with even United Way, it gave me something to do.
Yeah.
And it was just an activity that I knew I was making a little bit of a, why complain about something unless you get involved and you put in your 2 cents worth. And I don't know how much 2 cents I put in, but just getting involved, letting your voice be known, and being out in the community so somebody might see you and say, you know, I want to ask you this about the hospital or the United Way, about kindergarten, or because I was involved with at the First Methodist Church with their preschool before we had the preschool in the public school system. So, and I'm not a sitter.
No, you're not. You're a mover and a shaker.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm not good at sitting. I'll just as well be trying to do something.
Would you say you're a community advocate?
Oh, yes. Yes. And now that I'm not on the hospital board, but I'll always be your cheerleader.
I'm bitter about that, you know, you not being on the hospital
After
board.
13 years, I just couldn't believe when I even looked at that gorgeous vase that they gave me when I was no longer the board chair. And I went, 13 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
But it didn't seem like it, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, a lot of times when you get involved with something, you maybe deep down inside, you hope to leave a mark. And you left a big mark on this community. I'm going to get emotional too, my goodness. And I'm new here. The Harris Radiation Therapy Center was a dream of yours. And talk about that for a bit.
You know, I say it was a dream. I think it sort of fell into my lap. The hospital was ready to work on that certificate of need. Mm-hmm. I happened to be at the right place at the right time and have the passion.
You certainly did.
And after losing someone to cancer, and it wasn't such a bad thing for us to have to go to Rome for treatment. But we had 2 cars. Howard was healthy really until the last month or 2. And he was able to drive if he went by himself. But then you think about the people that are alone, they live alone, they're sick. They don't feel like driving.
Absolutely.
35 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then you sit around with people that you don't know. The one good thing about having everything here is you walk into either into Dr. Turner's office or into the Harris Radiation Center, and there's somebody most likely that says, "Hey, I know you.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this together."
Right.
That would be so important to me. But it did. It fell in my lap. When I was chairman, I really did want to do something, not to just say, I'm the foundation chairman of the Gordon Hospital.
Right.
But it worked. I was passionate about it. And I always remember Sam calling me, I think about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, woke me up. And he said, I know I'm waking you up, but I just received an email or a fax or something, and we have finally received the certificate of need.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was, I remember calling Flipper, and he said, Helen, will you stop crying? Just tell me what you have to say. And I said, and it was very hard for me, but I knew Flipper was thinking alone, and he had been on the board with me, and I knew he was feeling passionate about the Radiation Therapy Center. So it all worked, and look at the beautiful facility.
I've walked in there.
I say we have, but
I've walked in there with you. We've been in meetings together in that building.
Oh, yes.
And to me, it's one of my favorite places to go on campus because those patients and the staff there, they love each other.
They do.
And they create this bond that you don't see everywhere else. And I think there's just something special about that.
And even the volunteers that are there just to, and there's another good thing. You know, somebody is most likely going to recognize you. But if they don't, they're going to know you and you're going to know them.
Right.
They're passionate about their work also.
It's a family for sure.
So it is.
Talk to me about the concept of servant leadership. You know, I've been reading a lot of books on leadership lately, and but servant leadership, what does that mean to you?
Well, I don't know that everybody is cut out to be, you know, a leader or to be a leader of a service organization. And I don't know where I got cut out to be that. I guess that passion of having something you want to see accomplished. And I think that's what, but it was very important to me. I said I wanted this to happen as far as the radiation therapy center. First, I guess I was sort of doing it in Howard's memory.
Absolutely.
But what it did for me, it pulled me out. Maybe it pulled me out into the leadership rather than me being the leader. It pulled me out to be more of a leader.
So your love for Howard, the honor of his memory was the driving force for you getting involved and bringing that project to fruition.
Yes, and I think too, I could see the progress the hospital had made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, putting everything together, it just, and the hospital was willing for me to, y'all accepted me.
Oh, well, why, how could we not?
Well,
And so I
was kind of an outsider.
I don't know about that.
But I became an insider.
Yeah.
I will. I mean, when I count my friends, my besties, many people here.
So I've only been a part of the community for 2.5, 3 years, and so the project, I know the project happened long before I got here, but I'm curious, as you look back, how much of it was a Gordon Hospital project and how much of it was a community project? Or were the lines just blurred?
I don't think, I think they...
Yeah, that's great.
I don't think I could separate
Yeah.
the two. I couldn't.
Good, good. What do you hope for the future of this community? I know you love this community.
Yeah,
You've got
do.
grandchildren here,
Yes.
family here. What's your hope for the future of this community?
I think, to grow, but to grow with the same values that we do seem to have had over the, we don't want to get too big. We don't want to, get outside our, keep our churches important and our community important. And, I think it's just I don't think we're going to get too big too fast like some areas in our community. So, and I think having good government in our town, having good schools.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's going to change there.
We've got a lot of good things going, don't we?
We do. And I think it used to be you could go into a restaurant, you knew everybody in there.
Yeah.
And now, I think, where are all these people coming from? But good people are coming in. And that's what we have, good people to continue to come in, and good law enforcement. And
right.
We do seem to have, we've never seemed to have had problems.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully all of that will continue.
Now, I know as much as you love this community, you love to escape to the mountains.
I do.
What do you love about the mountains?
The cool air.
The cool air. It's pretty hot here in the summer.
It's hot here. But I guess it gives me an alternative of just a place to escape to. That's the way it was after I lost Howard. Just a place to get away and have my own space.
Right.
And I sure miss my children and grandchildren here, but one of my boys, jokingly I hope, said, Mom, we show the children a picture of you every once in a while so they won't forget who you are. And it's not that bad.
That's funny.
But they like to tease as much as I do.
Sure.
And they also like to come up there. So don't know how long I'll be able to keep. There's always something to be fixed up there and fixed here. So, But anyway, as long as I have my health.
Yeah.
As long as I have my health.
So I love thinking about the word legacy. What do you want your legacy to be? When you look back on your life, what do you want your legacy to be?
Maybe to think of even what my obituary is going to say.
That's not what I asked.
Well, I guess to say that I made a difference. I was happy. I wanted other people around me to be happy, and I wanted to see changes, but maybe not too fast. But I love my family, love my faith, love my friends, and I'd like to be called a good friend. Never have thought about it much, but I guess that's what, active in some way in your life to maybe make a little bit of a difference. Maybe make a little bit of a difference.
Well, I think you've made a tremendous difference in this community here at Gordon Hospital, and I want to thank you for your time today. Thank you for your service on the foundation board and your commitment to, to really being a voice for the hospital and for the community.
See, I was not a cheerleader in high school, and I could not do a split, and I can't do anything. But I will say I'm a cheerleader.
You certainly are. You're a cheerleader now.
Well, but if I believe in something, I want to let it be known.
Well, thanks again for coming by, and
See if y'all move again.
let me know next time you come back from the mountains, and we'll get together.
Oh, okay. I've enjoyed it.